Welcome to the Trust in Industrial AI video series, where we explore how to implement AI with speed and confidence in safety-critical industries. AI doesn't operate alone, but in a complex context that includes both individuals and organizations. People impact and are impacted by AI systems, and today's episode is all about the people. I'm your host, Martine, and today I'm joined by our human factors and change experts, Koen and Karen. Welcome to both of you.
Pleasure.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Good. And I think we'll start with the basics. So why is it so important to consider the human factors when implementing AI in high-risk contexts?
Well, human factors is about making systems work for people. And I think especially in high-risk industrial applications where operators perform safety-critical tasks, I think it's important that we develop these systems such that they support humans in their work. Now, I think also that despite these rapid developments that we see in AI applications in general, but also now we're starting to see this in industrial settings, these systems have inherent limitations, and the world is very complex. And therefore, I think the human role is as important as it is today, and therefore I think we should put the effort in to develop systems that support human decision-making.
And if we don't consider the human factors, then people might not trust or use the systems, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, I think it's important to highlight here that when we talk about trust, that it's not about maximizing trust. I think when we develop these systems and the relationship that humans have with these particular systems, that humans learn to calibrate their trust, which means that given these inherent limitations of these systems, humans need to be able to recognize when the system works well and when it has where its limitations are. So when they should be cautious. So it's not about maximizing trust; it's calibrating trust, and that I think is an important factor in human oversight.
That's an interesting and a little bit different perspective from what we've heard so far. So can you give an example of this?
Let's take an example from maritime, for example, where I work most in. We have developments towards autonomous shipping. These systems, they employ image recognition systems to detect objects in the water, for example, or land and other in the wider environment. And they use algorithms for path planning and prediction where other ships are going. Right? So there might be limitations on the data set the system is trained on, and the maritime traffic situation can be quite complex. So, which means that predicting where other ships are going can be quite difficult, and sometimes a solution can only be made if ships agree on how to solve it, rather than strictly following the rules. And there's, for example, a sentence in the collision regulation that says you have to behave according to good seamanship. What does that mean?
Yeah.
How does the system know what good seamanship is? So, and it's those kinds of things that where we think that maybe the role of a human is still quite important, even though we're going towards autonomous shipping.
So sometimes an actual human being needs to intervene.
Yeah.
And how can organizations work with human factors while they're developing AI systems?
Well, I think if we go back to this definition of human factors, making systems that work for humans, which means that I think we should ensure that humans are at the center of the development, so a human-centric approach rather than a technology-centric approach. And this human-centric approach, this basically means that we ask a number of questions, right? So we say, what are the goals we try to achieve with this human AI system? What are the main decisions that need to be made? What kind of information does an operator need in order to make good operational decisions regarding the use of that system? What are the tasks that will be performed? What are the challenges? How can they be managed? So I think by taking this human-centric approach, it's important, but it's quite challenging because if we task a person to oversee a system, and this system is really complex, these AI-enabled systems are rather complex, that oversight task is complex in itself. So therefore, I think we need to support humans in that. A multidisciplinary human-centered approach is a good way of achieving this.
But even if we take this human-centered approach, it still means a big change for people. It means changing the way they work. They need to trust the new system, interact with the new system. And at the same time, we know that a lot of people are quite skeptical to change. How do we deal with that, Koen?
I think they have a good reason to be skeptical. It turns out that up to 80% of AI projects fail due to misaligned leadership, data quality issues, and collaboration between teams. And it gets even worse because 62% of the population are uncomfortable with change in the first place. So that makes successful AI adaptation much harder. And I think managers and leaders need to take into consideration that change management is just as crucial as the technical development when they look at solutions for their company. And in high critical industries, you also need to look at what kind of processes need to change, what skill sets do we need to enforce, and also create a culture so that you can have the support in order to get the adaptation fully running.
So what specifically can organizations do to succeed with change management?
It's $1 million question. I think a lot of people are scratching their head. But we do see that organizations that have effective change management are 6 times more likely to succeed with any project, to be honest. It's not just on AI, it's any technical implementation. So leaders need to create an environment of psychological safety and trust so that, like you say, employees can address their concerns and have an openness and ask questions, not take everything for granted. You need to have a dialogue about the risk and the benefits and the challenges with an AI system that's in either development or deployment. And then leaders need to also be the liaison and be the persons who advocate the change. They need to understand what they're inflicting on their organization by communicating the benefits, giving time to reskill and give them the opportunity to train well in advance before they start operating the systems. We see that change management is all normally put in as a hindsight. We see, oh, adaptation isn't going as we thought. Maybe we should put some change management into it. But the investment of not doing it from the start can be quite costly because you won't have the return on the technical investment that you've done unless you have people who are willing to use the systems. And if you have unwilling or people who are unable to use the systems, your business case is going to crash.
So you actually, from the beginning, need to think about both a human-centered approach, but also the change management side of things to get your people.
Exactly. The technical part is what we are looking at because that's easy to control. Human factors and the psychology around people are much harder. So you need to give it more time. So while you are thinking about how you want this future AI adaptation to be used within your critical factors, you need to give the organization time to mature with that investment that you're about to do.
Great. Any final thoughts from you, Koen?
Well, I was thinking, I think it's important to highlight also here that it's not about choosing one over the other. I think I've at least tried to make my case that humans play an important role, but so does technology. So ideally, in the future, where we're going is that AI systems or systems in general are not just a tool that you use, but will become some kind of a teammate. So where humans and AI systems will be able to collaborate in a way. I'm not sure exactly how this will play out, but that's the theory. And as we discussed earlier, as with human teams, teams consisting only of humans, trust is an important element. And so will trust play an important role in human AI teams. And I think if we're able to establish that, then I think the sum will be greater than its individual parts. Yeah.
Great. So think about the AI system as your teammate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll end with that great advice. So thank you, both of you, for all these insights about people. Thank you. And thank you to our audience for tuning in. If you have any questions or want to learn more about how DNV can support you with safe application of industrial AI, then please visit our website.